Hello, Megan. How are you? My name's Neil Waters, and Josh.
Hey Neil, how are you?
Yeah, good. Joshua Yeager gave me your number. Said it was okay to have a call, give you a ring.
He said he might pass it on to you. You might be interested in having a chat.
Yeah, awesome. Is it okay if I record our conversation?
Yeah, you can record our conversation.
Well, that's all right. You got no problems with me publishing it on our YouTube channel?
On your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So I run a thing online called the Thylacine
Yeah.
Awareness Group of Australia,
Yeah.
and we collect a lot of these sightings from people all over the country, actually.
Okay.
And then we put them on our YouTube channel basically just for people to listen to. So if you want, I can delete your name out of it if you want, just to protect your identity if you're worried about that.
Look, you can put, what will you put, like just Megan from Nairne?
Yeah, or whatever you want. Yeah, Megan from wherever, it's up to you. But you're obviously up in Nairne, not too far from Mount Barker there, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. We're just coming home to Nairne.
Okay.
On Saturday night, yeah.
So it was Saturday night that you had the sighting, yeah?
Saturday night would have been pretty close to 10 o'clock.
Okay. So you're happy to go ahead with that?
Oh, look, as long as you just use my first name, that's okay. I'm sure there's more than one Megan in there.
No worries. All right, so let's hear it. What happened?
Okay, so we'd been to the Aunties for tea, and we were just coming back along Bald Hills Road, heading from Mount Barker to Nairne.
Yep.
And we'd just gone through the 60k area where you increase your speed to 60k, just heading towards the Laratinga wetlands. And I know that because we always point that out to my son, that here comes the wetlands, and he always has a look and he's excited. I was in the front seat and my two passengers were in the back seat, so they couldn't really see where, in front of the car.
Yep.
And from just on the left-hand side, just very close to the sign that said, announced kind of the wetlands car park, there's a bit of a gap.
Yep.
And I just saw this probably about 30, 35, 40 metres ahead. This animal walked out onto the road. It was walking slowly, and it was a really unusually shaped animal. And I thought straight away it's not a cat or a dog. And I guess my only thing I could think of that it might be was a fox, because. And so I just, once I passed it and that, I said to everyone in the back, "Did you see that fox?" And everyone said, "No, couldn't see it." And my first thought was that it had a bad something wrong with its back hindquarters, with its hips. Its back legs didn't seem to be working properly. They both were kind of like limping and stilted looking how it walked. It didn't walk like a dog or a cat or a fox. So I said to my passengers, "Hang on, that wasn't a fox. I don't know what that was. It was walking really funny, and it had a really weird tail." And I described it later as like a rat tail. And I think what I was trying to get at was that it's the way the tail came off the animal was very different to how like a cat's tail or a dog's tail or a fox tail comes off. It has a whole different shape to the hindquarters and the way the tail joins onto the animal.
Yep.
This kind of came off more like how a rat's tail, and it went horizontal. It was thick at the base, and then like a long, abnormally long, skinny tail. So I thought, no, that's definitely not a fox. It was. It didn't look like it had fluffy hair. It had fairly short hair, and not much hair on its tail. It was fairly short hair.
Yep.
So I just thought, what is that sort of thing? And by then, I kind of took my foot off the accelerator but continued driving, and it just walked very casually, almost nonchalantly across the road. It kind of glanced a little bit at the car and just continued to walk. And by the time it crossed over the other lane and into the other footpath, I was probably only probably about 10, 15 metres away from it. So I was fairly close.
Yep.
So got a fairly decent look at it. It had I thought it just had an abnormally looking long body that was probably exaggerated by the length of the tail, which was really long, compared to its height, how high it was off the ground.
So it wasn't as high off the ground as it should be for being that long.
That's what I thought. Like if it was a dog of that length, it would have been a much higher animal.
Yep.
It was kind of weird. It seemed out of proportion. It seemed longer than it should be given its height.
Yep.
It looked probably like the height of a medium to large dog sort of thing, but the length of it was way longer, particularly considering the tail. And it had a shape. The head and the neck didn't look like a dog either. It was very muscular and seemed to have a longer neck, like a stronger and longer neck that a dog would have, and it sort of went forward a bit more than a dog, if that makes sense. Its neck.
Mm-hmm.
So I really didn't know what it was. I thought that's a really weird looking thing, and I just said to my passengers, "That's not a fox." I said, "I don't know what's that. It has a really weird tail, and it's walking really funny, like with a limp, like its hindquarters just aren't working properly."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really odd. And when I got back home, I sort of thought I'd heard that there were some sightings potentially in the Adelaide Hills, and so I jumped onto Google, as you do, and just Googled Tasmanian tiger and came up with some images, and I was quite shocked because that looked pretty much spot on as to what I'd seen.
Yep.
It looked a brown, like a lightish brown colour. It had pretty short sort of hair. It wasn't fluffy looking. It looked fairly short-haired, and I do recall very faint, potentially stripes on its back. But keeping in mind, I was seeing it from the car headlights. I wasn't seeing it in daylight. It was dark.
Modern car or an old car?
It's an old car, so it's not the LED lights, the old style lights.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So you could see it okay, but you wouldn't say it's real bright, super bright.
No, not like those ones that dazzle you these days. It was just a standard car. Look, I think at that point I probably had my high beams on because I'm always a little paranoid. You know, we have to keep our eyes peeled for roos and stuff up here.
Yeah, there's plenty of roos up that way.
Stacks. So I always, if there's no one else on the road, and there was no one else, there'd been a few cars coming, but then there was a fairly clear stretch when I was the only car. There was nothing coming the other way, and nothing behind me, so I put my high beams on. I'm sure I would have had them on at that stage because I tend to drive with them if there's no one around.
Yep. And you're getting out of Mount Barker there, so it's a good time to put on your headlight, your high beam as you go past the wetlands, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a pretty old sort of a night, so yeah, there was not too much traffic, so I tend to drive with the lights on just so I can see if there's anything going to jump or hop out in front of me on the roofs.
Yep.
So yeah, I got a pretty good look at it, and yeah, definitely nothing like I've ever seen. And I've seen heaps of foxes up here, and you do see lots of roos. I've got a dog, and I've had cats, so I kind of know what they look like.
Sure.
And it didn't look like anything else.
How long have you lived up in the hills?
To be honest.
How long have you lived up in the hills?
We moved up here to Nairne in 2018, about the middle of the year.
Okay, fair enough.
Prior to that, I'd lived up in North Summit for a few years as well.
Yep. So this sighting, how did it end up in Nairne chat? I'm curious, because normally if Josh puts anything up in there, or I do, it gets shot down by skeptics.
Look, Nairne chat is a bit like that. It's an interesting kind of forum.
Yeah.
But I remembered when I got home, I remembered seeing a bloke, and we were talking about it by that stage, because I'd Googled the pictures, and I thought, oh my goodness, it actually looked pretty much spot on to this.
Yeah.
And so we were then quite
excited.
Shocked by what I'd seen. And it was mentioned that there was a bloke in Nairne chat a few years ago that had put up a post asking if anyone had seen anything odd in the area. So I just jumped on there and punched in to see if I could find a post, and sure enough, Joshua's post popped up.
Okay, so you just commented on it.
Yeah, I just sent him a message because I was a little bit shy to comment to it. Because he always got that stigma that you're going to be perceived as this crazy person.
You were drunk on the way home from the pub.
No, I certainly wasn't. I think we've been at the auntie's place since 4:45 or something, and I think I had 1.5 glasses of wine for the whole between then and 10 o'clock when we left. So I myself hadn't really been drinking whatsoever apart from a glass of wine with tea.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's all good. So how long in time duration do you think you probably saw it for as you were driving towards that?
Um, it was quite a few seconds. I mean, you think about it, it goes very quickly. Like, you think that was just so fast, but it actually was. It walked slowly across the road. It wasn't. It wasn't. Joshua sent me some subsequent videos, and the videos that I've seen seem to show it sort of more bouncing.
Yep.
And like a kind of a hopping motion, almost in the back legs. This didn't have that. It was walking slowly. It wasn't running like the videos I've seen since then.
Wasn't in any hurry.
No, it was really. I was really surprised that it wasn't at all bothered by the car, because you see an animal like that normally. I took my foot off the accelerator but didn't brake, and you think scamper across real quick, but it just kind of glanced at the car a little bit and then just continued on its way like it really wasn't too fast.
Yep, that's pretty common observation from witnesses.
Is it?
It really is. And the gate is always mentioned.
Yeah, it looked really like it almost had. It didn't look like it was injured at the time that I saw it, but it looked like it must have had like an old injury the way it was walking in its hips and its hindquarters, because both of its back legs didn't like work very well. It was just like all limpy, and it was a very stilted, unusual kind of awkward how it was walking. It was really, really unusual. I've never seen anything walk like that.
Yeah. You'd be pleased to know that's about the third sighting, I think, near the Laratinga wetlands.
You're kidding me.
Nah, and that's over about 10 years.
Yeah.
But there are many sightings up around Nairne, Mount Barker, and a bit further out to Flaxley and Achunga as well, and Jupiter Creek. Like there are quite a few.
Okay, that's shocked me a bit too. That there'd be so many there. Joshua did mention that there'd been one other one sort of in the vicinity, but I mean, Laratinga is such a popular area. There's on the weekends there's just so many people going through the wetlands.
And lots of birds and wildlife there for things to eat if they're hungry.
Lots of food, yeah. It's very full of water at the moment, so there'd be lots of things in a smaller area. I think it would have come out of where the water is, so.
Yep.
Yeah, it would definitely be abundant food supply, that's for sure. But I went back Sunday night to have another look and to just try and retrace my steps and get a better idea as to where it actually came from.
Okay.
And I think I've nailed it down pretty closely. And I took a few photos when I was there last night.
Didn't find any prints?
I did actually. Joshua got me so curious that I did take some photos of prints that I saw in the area where it came out. I'm pretty confident I've got the spot where it walked across.
Oh, that's good.
I did take some photos, but there's quite a few dogs and that go walking in the wetlands. So
yeah, that's the other thing you have to watch out for, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm happy to forward. What I photographed on.
Yeah, by all means, send them through. We do find prints on the mainland that match the ones we find in Tasmania to a T.
Right.
And I have found, I'm from Adelaide originally, I have found some massive prints up Tea Tree Gully Way.
Wow.
And that was 9 years ago when I found those. So, and the ones I find in Tassie, I've got a mate in Queensland who only found some the other day, and he compared them to my Tassie ones, and they're bang on. They're identical. They have this fifth digit that sits out like an opposable, bit like a thumb, really, on a hand. Their front feet are quite large, especially on the males. But this fifth digit makes a very good impression in the right kind of substrate. If it's soft and wet, it sort of grabs the ground to grip it when it runs. So the fifth digit sort of gets right in there.
Okay. That's interesting. It's where it came across. It was quite wet still, because we've had a fair bit of rain lately, and it was a bit damp and puddly looking when I was back there last night. And I think I saw one that looked a little bit weird. That looked like sometimes a dog's claw can stick out a little bit. This did look a bit exaggerated.
Yeah. On wet, soft beach sand, a dog can put its fifth digit down. It's dew claw. It's not really a digit.
Yeah, the dew claw.
But this thing has a real digit to it. It's not just a claw. It's like a small thumb off the side of their front paw. It's very distinct. So yeah, if you've got some photos of prints, by all means, flick them through. You've got my mobile number now, so just text them through to me if you like, and I'll put them in the clip, and I'll put the audio out of your interview.
Yeah, no
Give
worries.
people something to look at. Awesome.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Nah, that's pretty much it, mate. In a nutshell, I won't be able to get this out in the immediate future, but in the next few weeks, I've got a couple there to publish. Actually, I spoke to some people in Victoria, and I've got another fella in WA to ring as well.
Wow.
Um,
so then, look, I mean, in my way of thinking, logically, it's pretty hard to prove something's extinct.
Well, it's impossible to prove something's
That's what I
extinct.
thought.
It's just a theory that it's extinct.
Yeah, you can say no one's seen one for a while, so therefore it must be extinct. But that's a big leap, just because no one's
Well,
seen it.
and the thing is, people see these things all the time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
I
just
was
for a while,
surprised.
you know. So you're not alone. There are many out there like you who see this thing, and more often than not, they feel pretty blown away when they do. So
We were very shocked.
yeah, I bet. That's awesome.
I couldn't put my finger on what on earth it was. It was not like anything I've seen.
Yeah, no, that's the normal kind of thing that people say. You know, it's pretty consistent with all the other testimonies I get. So that's excellent.
Or maybe I'm not going crazy, so that's good.
Not yet.
Excellent.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much for your time and your information. That's really good.
No worries. You have a great night. Thank you.
No worries. Flick those photos through, and I'll put them out when I get it edited.
No worries. I'll send them shortly. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Bye bye.
See you later. Bye.
Ta-da.